West with Living Live, and tonight I have the pleasure to introduce you to Jamie. Now, she does something that I had never heard of before. Maybe you have, but I had never heard of this. Is she does Reiki on animals. And I've heard of Reiki, and I'm going to have her explain what that is, and then how doing it on animals, like how does that help them? How does that help you? Because there's a lot to this. So Jamie, I want you to, introduce yourself to the audience, like who you are, what you do, and, why you do this that you do. Welcome.
Okay. Well, thank you, Linda. Thank you for having me here. Yes, my name is Jamie Lee. I'm an animal relationship specialist. So what that means, it sounds a little odd, but what it means is I work with the relationship that people share with their animals. And one of the ways I do that is by utilizing Reiki, and animal Reiki in particular. So Reiki, if for those people who've never heard of it, is really a Japanese word that means spiritual energy. So that's what the word itself means. But there's also a system of Reiki. And the system of Reiki was created in Japan back in the, I'd say the late 1800s, like 1890 something, early 1900s, by a man named Mikao Misui. And he created it as a self-enlightenment program. So back in that time when he was living in Japan, there was either you had a lot or you didn't have anything. So he was fortunate. His family had means. He could read, he could write, and he wanted to teach everyone else. So that's the history of it. It came west through one of his students. And since it came west, it's changed quite a bit. And there's lots of different, what we call lineages, and you can think of them as branches. But what I teach, and I've studied a lot of the different lineages, what resonates the most with me and what I've found to work so well with animals is the lineage that deals with meditation. And it's a meditative Reiki that we do with animals. And that's a little bit different than what we do with people usually. Most people, when they think about it, you think about maybe laying on a table or sitting in a chair. The practitioner puts their hands on you. They allow energy to flow. But with animals, we use a system that my teacher has trademarked, and she calls it Let Animals Lead. And by doing that, we put the animals in control of the Reiki session. So basically, when I'm meditating, what I'm doing is I am going to that quiet place inside me that we all have, and we all call it different names. Maybe we call it spirit, maybe we call it God, maybe we just call it consciousness, oneness. But that peaceful place that we go to when we meditate, and when we go there, everything is possible. That is true compassion. When we are in that place, we are compassionate, loving beings. And because of that, goes out and it affects everyone around us. And that includes our pets like mine who are here with me tonight. And so we call it the Reiki ripple. And it ripples out and it just goes out. So as I continue to practice and I continue to meditate, I affect people just by the work I do on myself. And so I teach that a lot in my classes. But that means the animals are affected, my family's affected, the people standing in the grocery line are affected. And that's the power of Reiki. It's gentle, and it's not overpowering, but it's powerful. Oh, I can't hear you.
How about now?
Now I can.
Okay, it helps if I unmute myself. I have two dogs, and periodically they will like to go on a barking, stampede. So I'll mute myself when I'm not talking to make sure that if they do that, that you guys don't hear that. But now tonight, so the Reiki process, first of all, how did you first discover this? And then what made you decide that this is what I want to do?
Well, I first discovered it about 18, 20 years ago. I was divorced. A very dear friend of mine was divorced with two small children, and she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Mm,
So she went away to another town because we were living in a small town. She had to go for treatment. And because it was so advanced, she went for experimental treatment. So, of course, they gave her heavy duty drugs that they didn't really know would be effective, something new they were trying. But they also worked with nutrition, they worked with color light therapy, and they used Reiki. So when she came back, I was staying with her children. When she came back, she was like, "You have to learn Reiki," and I'm like, "I don't even know what that is. I don't even,
right, right.
I got to learn Reiki, and we're in this little bitty town." Well, as it happens, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. We've all
Yes.
heard that, and that happened for me. So shortly after she had gotten back, where I lived, we had heavy duty winters. So was in the tire shop having snow tires put on, and there was a woman sitting beside me, and we struck up a conversation. And I asked her what she did, and she kind of hesitated a little bit. And she said,
Mm-hmm.
"Well, I work with energy." And I said, "Do you mean Reiki?" And I'm like, "Oh, maybe this is it." And it was. She said, "Yes, you know about it."
Wow.
And I said, "No, but I need to learn it." And so she became my first teacher.
That's
So,
fantastic. I truly believe that, yeah, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And really, it's that the teacher was always there, but the student just wasn't ready yet. And so,
yes.
really, we have who we need in our lives right now, but we're not ready for certain things. And so, they're sitting right in front of us, but we don't know we're ready. And I'm going to talk just really, really quickly before you go on, because this is an interesting topic here. Student is ready, the teacher will appear, is that there's so many people out there who are throwing themselves at people, but what they don't realize is those people aren't ready for them yet. So when you're throwing yourself at them, you're kind of deflecting them. I mean, they're deflecting you because they're not ready. They are the student, but they're not ready for you yet. So I just wanted to address that because I think that's such a very important topic to cover. And I talk about it all the time when I talk about marketing. Repellent marketing is what I call it. Now, there you were like, "Oh, what do you do?" She says, "I work with energy." And you're like, "Is it Reiki?" You're like, "I'm ready." So
Yes.
now it's time for her to say, "Okay, well, I'm the one for you. Here
Yes.
I am."
And it's so true how that works. That as we work on ourselves, and that's what I teach students in my classes. When they first start, everybody wants to, they're in a hurry. They want to work on the animals, they want to work on people. And it's like, this is your first beginnings are all about working on you. And yes, you're going
Mm.
to learn techniques to work on people, and you're going to learn to work on animals. But the important thing that you have to get out of it is to work on yourself, because that's what helps others.
Right. Oh, that's so cool. So then you got into it. You had your Reiki teacher. You got
Yeah,
into it, and then did you first work on humans and then move to animals, or
I
how did that
did,
work?
and something was always missing. And
Oh,
I couldn't
okay.
figure it out. So I took a lot of different classes from different Reiki teachers, and I always learned something from each one. But I still felt like something was missing, and I didn't know what it was. Um, and I had heard about Kathleen Prasad, who really founded Animal Reiki. I mean, for the most part, I don't think very many people had even heard of it, much less thought about doing it. She really started the movement, and she has started a nonprofit organization, which I'm proud to be one of her teachers, Sarah, which is Shelter Animal Reiki Association. But so I just had followed her, and her method was quite different than all the other that I had learned. And so one day I was on Facebook, and I wasn't really even paying attention to what she was doing. And an ad popped up, or one of her posts, and I hadn't seen a post in probably over a year from her. And she had gotten some money so she could offer scholarships. And it was one of those moments when I read it, and she said, "We have a scholarship, and you can become a Sarah teacher." And it all went, that's my scholarship. And so I quickly just wrote everything down, And looked at the questions, I filled it all in, I sent it off, and I knew that was going to be my scholarship. So I don't know how many months later, because it was a few months before they made their decision. They were picking five people for these scholarships, and I was selected. So I went out to California. I was at an animal sanctuary, and all the pieces fell into place for me there. And it was because of the animals. And now animals have always they've always been very, very important to me. And I've always known that I came to this planet to help elevate their status. Because I think we all have a purpose and we all come to the planet for a reason. And I had always known that inside, but I had been listening to all the outside voices. And even when I would try to follow up on it, I would get the messages when I was a young girl, girls can't be vets, or, you can't do that and you can't do that. And unfortunately, at that time, I listened to it. So, but it was still there. And that's why every teacher I had, something was missing. Something was missing because I wasn't really listening to that calling that is embedded in all of us, all our own unique calling.
Mm-hmm.
And so the animals at that sanctuary taught me what it was. And it's like, yeah, okay, now it's time to go forward with this.
That's so awesome.
Yes, I've
Well,
always worked with animals, but
yeah.
not.
So you discovered that, and I'd say that you discovered that because you finally opened yourself to discovering that, right? Because at the beginning, maybe there was some resistance because you just didn't know, like that was a thing
Right.
for
So
you, or
in the very beginning, I mean, the animals, when I was a child, um, they pretty much saved my life. And so
mm,
it was something that I protected. This relationship that I had with animals too. And for me to put it out there and open it up was kind of scary because my father, basically, in a nutshell, was a psychopath. And
mm,
so I grew up being very afraid, and I spent a lot of time in the forest because we lived by a forest with the animals. And I always had pets, and my pets, so they were my sanctuary, and they really helped me through this time. And then, when I was 2 weeks shy of 13, we had a flash flood come into our community, and it's still on like one of the top 10 flash floods in the country.
oh wow,
Over 200 people died. Many of my
wow,
neighbors died that I knew. All of my pets died. We
wow,
lost our home, we lost everything. And so I had this kind of crazy family, and I'd lost the woods that I felt safe in. I lost my pets that brought me security, and I was just, getting ready to turn 13. So for 2 weeks, I didn't have a pet in my life. And that's the only time I have not had animals share my life.
mm-hmm,
So they've just been very, very important. Of course, for my birthday, I got a kitten, and you know, um, but I have developed such a strong relationship with animals. But again, because I had this crazy father, he was always telling me it was wrong through actions and words, and it was weak. And I got that message as a young girl. And so I protected it, and I didn't think anybody would want it. So I had to use Reiki on me. I had to work on me to release all these things, um, and let go of all that and just say, you know what? And trust. I had to learn to trust
mm,
that, yes, this really is what I came here to do. And when I get confused, I go sit with animals and get quiet and ask them, tell me. Just tell me what I'm supposed to do. Tell me what the next step is. Help me figure this out. And so I had to let go of that and being afraid that people would judge me or they'd try to harm something that was very special to me.
mm-hmm.
I felt like if they criticized it or made fun of it because it was so special, that I just wouldn't be able to take that. And the Reiki has helped me get to a place where I know that, yeah, I can withstand somebody talking about my purpose because they don't even know what my purpose is. They should be worried about theirs, right? So, but it took
Yeah.
me a while to get there.
Well, let me ask you because I know you have your two dogs there, right?
Yes.
Are they
Oh,
still
one
there?
jumped down. She went
One jumped.
somewhere.
So as far as Reiki goes, are you able to show us, because you have one of your dogs there, are you able to
Yes.
show us like what would a Reiki session be like with a pet?
Yes, I certainly can. And the thing is, and I can show people actually that are watching, they can learn something, a very short little meditation. It's one of the first breathing ones because
Okay.
breath is our life. And when we work with animals, we don't do like we do with people where we automatically touch and put our hands on them. We always give them choice, we let them lead. So even when I go work with a client, I sit with the animal. I might be sitting this close if they want to sit with me. Um, and I let the animal know. I don't say it out loud, but silently, I let them know that I'm there to meditate and
Mm-hmm.
they're welcome to join me. I'm going to create a healing space. They're free to accept as much or as little of this as they want. And then I have to.
So, okay, so you're doing this without saying anything,
Mhm.
and it's something about the brain waves or the energy that you're
Yes,
sending out to them.
the energy that we send out, because animals speak fluent energy. And so they can sense this. And
Mm.
also, if you talk to animal communicators, which I'm not saying I'm an animal communicator, but they speak with, most of the times, it's images and it's intention, which is what Reiki works on is intention. So my intention is to let them know why I'm there. And I just do that silently and peacefully. And I let them know that they can accept as much or as little. And I have to honor that. That means if they don't want it, if they move away, I just let them move away and then I continue what I'm doing. Um, so we do that. And then I set my intention because Reiki works on intention. We are, every one of us are master creators, and our minds are so powerful that we
Mm.
just don't realize. And once we realize it, we get really careful what we think about, what we allow to come into our space. But my intention is always for the exact healing that's needed in this exact moment.
Okay, and so is the
Truthfully, I
healing
don't
for you?
know what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry, because is the healing for you? Is it for the animal? Is it for other people? Or like how does that all tie in?
It's for everyone, yes. It can be for me because I get healing when I work with animals. Of
Okay.
course, I offer it to the animals, and it's also to the pet parent because I ask them to be present if they want and to join me in the meditation. And the reason that is, our animals so many times are reflecting back or like a mirror to what's going on with us. And I see it time and time again where somebody says, my dog is out of control and they just won't settle down and they're anxious and they're always going around. And when I come in, they are too. And I
Mm-hmm.
had it happen one time, real quickly, I'll tell you this. I was at a shelter and I was just finishing up. I had been volunteering there offering Reiki. And the woman came and she said, my friend is here. Would you mind staying and offering Reiki to her and her dog? Because her dog has cancer and is going in for
Mm.
surgery tomorrow. And I said, certainly. So we were outside in one of the big pens, and she came up to me, and her dog, it was a big dog, and it was running the whole pen and just running, running, running. And I knew, well, he's never going to pay attention. I can't get him to slow down enough. I'm not going to be effective because you do have to do it at a time when the animal can at least accept it. You don't want to do it when they're really anxious, when they normally go for a hike, or when they're hungry.
Okay.
So I said, will you sit down? Because the woman was just like that. I found out through our conversation, she was just talking a mile a minute, that this was her first dog she ever had. She had never lost a dog before. Um,
Mm.
she had cancer, so she was terrified. And she was just standing still, and the dog was reflecting what was going on inside of her.
Ah.
So I asked her, I said, will you sit down and can I offer you some Reiki? And she looked at me funny, but she said, okay. So I began to do a chair session, and within 30 seconds, her dog came and laid down by her feet.
Mm.
So that's why I say I'm an animal relationship specialist, because I have to work on the whole situation, on everyone in the relationship, because that's
Ooh.
really what we're healing.
So when you have kids that are a little bit wild on the wild side, and you have a pet, the pet picks up on that energy of that kid, and it's likely to be a wild animal. I mean, like wild,
Yes,
crazy, running around. Oh, and you
yes,
can't. I
very
mean,
much so.
can you perform Reiki on a child? I don't know. Will they be
Absolutely,
receptive? Are receptive to it?
absolutely.
Huh? Okay.
And you can teach children to meditate, which is wonderful.
Wow.
Yes.
That's cool. So can you show us what you do, or is it not really anything that can be seen?
What? Why I can take? Why don't we all go through? Like, just spend maybe
Okay.
3 or 4 minutes and go through a breathing, and we can all do Reiki together.
Awesome. You know, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and type the word replay below. And if you're watching live, go ahead and type live below. We are 9 p.m. at night. This is the latest show I've ever done. And I'm actually kind of considering changing my show to a night show. What do you think, Jamie? Do you like the nighttime?
Oh, I do like nighttime.
I think it'll be fun. I'm thinking of maybe changing it to a nighttime show. So if you like doing the nighttime show, I see we don't have very many viewers right now live. So maybe this isn't the right time for live viewers, but for it's, about the replay viewers as well. So if you're watching the replay, type replay below, and then go ahead and get ready, get yourself seated in a comfortable position, I guess.
Yes.
And
Yes.
let's lead the way. I'm going to mute myself, but I will be
Okay.
here so you guys can see me.
Yeah.
Go, take it
All
away,
right.
Jamie.
So we want to get comfortable. And if you have animals, certainly have them in the room with you. Now, you don't want to hang on to them, or unless they come up and climb in your lap, that kind of thing, that's fine. Um, but
Should I go get one of mine just because?
sure.
Okay, so you go.
Yeah.
You keep going, and I'll go get one. I'll be right back.
Okay. Sounds. I think I have a fly around here. He must want some Reiki too. Um, so what you do is just try to sit straight but be comfortable. And so I have Oscar right beside me, and I'm just going to leave him right there, let him sleep, or he's not really asleep. And put your hands on your lap with the palms facing up. And just take in a few deep breaths. So right now we're just getting comfortable. We're releasing some of the stresses from the day and just taking some deep breaths, shaking everything off, all the stresses. And now close your eyes. Let your breathing go back to normal. And now I want you to visualize on your next breath in that you're breathing in healing energy from the universe in through your nose, and it's going to go down and travel down all the way down to what we call the hara. The hara is an energy center just about 2 fingers below your belly button. And then on the exhale, imagine that this healing energy you just breathed in is going to go out through your skin and your hands into the space around you. And with each exhale, it gets larger and larger, this space of energy, and continues out up to the sky and the universe and the heavens. So let's just take a breath in. Breathe in, breathing in the healing energy of the universe, all the way down to the hara, the energy center below your belly button. And now on the exhale, breathe out through your skin and your hands into the space around you. Breathe in the healing energy through the nose, down to the hara, Exhale out through your skin and your hands into the space around you. Breathe in through the nose, and the healing energy goes down to the hara. And then exhale out into the space around you. And now we invite our animals to share this space. They're free to accept as much or as little as they want. And we set our intention for the exact healing that's needed in this exact moment. And now we'll do a couple more hara breaths, as we call them. Breathing in the energy down to your hara. Exhale out through your skin and your hands into the space around you. Breathe in through the nose, down to the hara. Exhale out into the space around you. And now we sit in this healing space that we've created, feeling peaceful, feeling compassionate, feeling loving, feeling connected to our pets, and if your mind wanders, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just go back to the breathing, putting your focus on that breathing. Breathing in through the nose, down to the hara, and exhaling out into the space around you. And sit in this space. You can sit in this space for 5 minutes, for 30 minutes, however long that you want to. Tonight we won't sit there that long, but we've created this beautiful healing space. And now, just briefly, before we end this, focus on your heart and your energy center of your heart. And feel the warmth and the compassion and the love that's in your heart center. And just envision your heart center opening up and this beautiful light extending out. And extend that out to your pet. Don't try to force it on them. Just extend it out and offer them the love and the compassion that you feel for them. Just focus on how much you love your pet. How much joy they bring into your life. Just think about the love that you feel for them. Feel that coming from your heart. And feel the warmth that radiates out towards when you think of them. And now let's extend that energy a little bit farther and send it out throughout the globe, this beautiful healing energy that's coming out of our heart, this loving energy that is going out all around the globe to all the animals of the planet. To the animals that are in shelters, we're sending love. To the animals that are homeless and on the streets, we send love. To the animals lucky enough to find respite in sanctuaries, we send love. To the animals living in good homes, we send love. to the animals, just babies, just newly born on this earth, we send love. And to those winding down towards the end of their life, we send love. And to all the humans that share this planet with these amazing animals, we send love and compassion so that they may understand the importance of our relationship with animals. And we hold that thought and this space. And then just take another deep breath in and exhale out. And another deep breath in and exhale out. And bring your attention back. Your focus comes back now. We thank the animals of the planet, the wild animals, the domestic animals, the farm animals. We thank all of them for their presence and for being with us. And we come back, we bring awareness back to our body, to the room we're in. And then when you wiggle your fingers and toes, and when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to this space. So what we did there, as soon as I started the breathing, Bella, who had left the room, came back and laid down by my feet. And they were both perfectly still while all of this was going on. And as soon as we're finished, now we're awake and aware of what's happening around here. And I think you're muted again.
Yeah, that's right. I muted myself. Yeah, so when we came back, she barked, right?
Yes.
That was Bella bark.
Yes, that was Bella.
Aw, so cute. So what happened there then? Because I guess maybe I wasn't sure what I should be doing. Like I was listening to you, of course, and I was thinking all the
Right.
things you were thinking, but how does that help somebody?
So through the act, they have done research that meditation lowers blood pressure. It helps reduces pain. It lowers heart rate. They use it in cancers, a lot of cancer situations. It does do physical healing, physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. And I have
Mm-hmm.
seen physical healing come about. So it's through us just getting back to our true self, this true compassion, because compassion is what is the ultimate healer. The Buddhists say compassion is the ultimate healer, and it
Hmm.
really is. And it's hard to wrap our minds around here in the West uh, because sometimes it's hard to understand, but all life is connected. Animals, humans, we have our minds, and we've been taught things by people who love us very much, in our society and our parents, because they don't want us to get hurt. So
Hmm.
it's a whole new concept, but animals don't have that for the most part. They just react. I mean, not even react. They just go, oh, I understand this. I know what this is because they speak fluent energy. And so they
Hmm.
can just ease right into it, which is why I love, even if people want to work with on people and not animals, I say you need to take an animal Reiki class because when you work with animals, you see it. And I see that with my beginning students because they're always in their mind. And so they're wondering, am I doing this right? And what should I be doing? And where should I
Right.
be putting my hands? And so, like so many of us are, we're always in our heads. And as you meditate, you get out of your head and you see the animals respond instantly. Instantly. I just see it time and time again. Sometimes it may take 20 minutes, but they respond. And it's so beautiful. They're just such wonderful teachers for us.
That's awesome. So how I don't even know the question I want to ask.
So like
'Cause-
if someone's dog was sick, Reiki is
yeah.
good for that.
Okay.
If they're anxious, maybe it's the breed, maybe they've been a rescue, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for that. If they have suffered a loss, maybe a pack member has passed away or a person has passed away, it's good for that. And it also helps support the animal and the family at a time of transition.
Okay. So okay, we're moving.
Yes.
And one thing I've noticed, because we have two dogs, and
Mm-hmm.
one has just about always been needy. Like she always follows me around, or I should say, she wants me to follow her around. She's always leading me, but she's always with me. And it's like she's always under my chair. Like right now, she's under my chair. I can't move without moving her first. And then the other dog, he's kind of like more independent and what have you. But this last couple of days, because we've been selling a lot of stuff on OfferUp, because we're downsizing, and he started like hanging out with me under my desk, and he's never done that before.
Yes.
So he's sensing the energy of the moving and having all these different people coming into the house.
Sometimes they don't really know what's going on. They know something's happening, and they sense the change, they sense the activity, they sense the stress that a move brings about. They don't know that, oh, we're just moving to another house and everything's going to be fine. So they're picking up on all that energy that they don't know what's happening, the stress. And so it's like, I want to be really close because I don't know what's happening.
Okay, so how can I relieve him of that stress, or can I do that?
You can. The first thing, of course, is being aware of it. That, okay, yes, this affects them too. Sometimes we forget that everything happening in the family affects our pets. And so now that this affects them too, you understand. It means, be sure to include them as much as possible. If you're working in your office, call them in, that type of thing. But you can do 5 minutes a day and you can transform the life of your animal and you. If you do that simple breathing, and you don't even have to do the part where we envision the heart and all of that. If you just focus on, we call that, it's the Josh and Kokuho is what it's called in the system of Reiki, but there's not a test, so nobody needs to know that. But if you
there's a test after
there's
this.
no test here. It's just the hara breath. If you do that hara breathing with them to sit quietly, 5 minutes at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, it would make a huge difference.
Okay, and so just that is going to help us to connect together during this time of transition.
It will help you too, as you have all this stuff going on and a move, and yes, it helps you stay grounded and centered.
Okay, so I'll have my husband do it too, because he's the one that caused. I call him the Tasmanian devil. He just is spinning all over the place.
It's hard for people to visualize, so I have them go, just take your hands and give your hands something to do, because then your brain's got something to focus on, and be the energy. So you're breathing in through your nose, you're going down, then on the exhale you go out, and you can just move your hands. If some people have trouble focusing without, with their minds.
Yeah, that's me. I'm a wanderer, a brain wanderer for sure.
Many of us are.
Yeah, because even as you're saying the things that you're saying to me and I'm listening, I'm hearing you, but I'm also thinking of other things at the same time. So yeah, I like that idea of doing that, because I'm concentrating on that.
Then your mind has to think about this, what you're doing, and
okay.
it can't be.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Well, what is well, first of all, let me see. In order to, if you'd like to connect with Jamie, go to on Facebook, Jamie Lee Animal Bonds. That's her
Yes.
Facebook page. Go there, check her out, like her page. And then if you want to reach out to her, go ahead and on that page, go and send her a message and
Yes.
connect with her. So why don't you tell us about, the teachings that you do? I know you have I believe you have an online course. Is that out?
I have an online course. Yes, I do. And that is out. The next one will probably be in September that I'm going to be offering that. Right now, I'm doing a in-person class here in Vegas. And so that's going to be all the month of August. We're doing something a little different. Normally, I do it in 2 days. And this time, some local people wanted to do it, but we're doing it Friday evenings for 3 hours for a month.
Okay.
And what's unique about my classes is then at the end of it, or the last day, we go out to an animal sanctuary, and everything we learned in class we use on the animals. And the students get a chance to really see the animals respond, they see it in action. And every every class I do, I donate 25% back to the animal rescue or the sanctuary or an animal group,
Oh,
because that's part of the Sarah method, I guess you would say. We always give back to the community.
well, that's fantastic. I love what you're doing. And I remember when I first met you almost a year ago, I think it was, you met you online through mutual friends.
Yes.
And it's just really cool because I never heard of this before. Like I'd heard of Reiki, but I never heard of Reiki for animals. I still didn't know what it meant. Even though I heard of it, I didn't know what it meant. And so it's just an interesting practice. And I'm meeting a lot more people who do energy work and stuff. And it's something just so different to me, and I can't fully grasp it. I'm more of like I'm a tactile learner. So,
Right.
hands on, I'm great. And this is not tactile. This
No,
is
it's not.
totally not at all.
Yeah.
And so for me to like totally envision what it is and how it works, it takes me a while. I would say I'm kind of dense in the head when it
Not
comes to understanding this.
not dense at all. So
Okay,
I say one of the
fix
things
me.
it is, it's you become Reiki. And so that's really what I teach people is don't worry about doing Reiki. Even if you're working
Mm,
on people, don't worry about where they hurt. Don't think about your hand positions. Don't do Reiki. Be Reiki.
be Reiki.
Be
Okay.
Reiki. And
Well,
that's the most important thing. So, of course, it takes us a while because we have to work on ourselves and we have to learn to let go and how to quiet our minds. And we have to sit in meditation to do those kind of things. And the more we do that, the more effective we are when we offer Reiki to someone else.
okay. Oh, I love that. That's so awesome. Well, I'm glad I met you first of all, and then sharing this information with us here, taking us through the exercise. If you want to connect with Jamie Lee, go to on Facebook, go to Jamie Lee Animal Bonds and connect with her. Find out more about her course. And if you happen to be in the Vegas area and you want to sit in on the sessions, she does them Friday nights, 4 Fridays in August. So
Yeah.
it's coming up in a couple weeks. So reach out to her, check it out. And remember, 25% of all the proceeds go to a local animal shelter. Was an animal shelter?
Shelter, or when we go out to Wendy's Ranch and Rescue, because they have all the farm animals, I donate to her. So wherever I'm at, I have traveled to Arizona. I've had shelters there ask me come, and so then I donate to them.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Jamie, I'm so happy to have you here. And we're over by about 15 minutes, which is,
Oh my gosh! Well, thank you so much,
you're
Linda. This was
welcome. Time
wonderful.
flies.
It
Time flies when you're
does.
having fun. Yeah. So that was awesome. I'll definitely go back and listen to the meditation and do it again when my dog's not in my lap. She was so uncomfortable, I think, being up in my lap.
Yeah.
So she couldn't relax very well because I'm on like an office chair. So now though she's under my chair like she always is, and that's her spot. I
She
don't know
likes
how many
that
times.
spot. That's a perfect place for her to be for meditation.
What's crazy is I don't say I've run over her, but sometimes I don't know she's there and I back up and she's like, ah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how come she keeps going back? Why does she keep going back?
She likes that spot.
She sure does. Okay, I guess it's where she feels the best energy from me. My energy, I guess, going down, and she's
Yes.
healing me by sending it back up. Right? Well, thanks again, Jamie, so much for being here. That's Jamie Lee Animal Bonds on Facebook. Go like her page and reach out to her, to find out some more information about animal Reiki. So you guys have a great night, and we will see you really soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Thank you, Linda.